Okay, we are live again. Thank you guys for your patience. We are so sorry for the technical difficulties. That was my internet going down. We haven't had that issue before on our live streams, but these days you never know with all the stuff going on in the world. So thank you for your patience. We are excited to be here today with Bev and Michael Solatino. And I got that right, Michael.
Great job.
Okay. All right. Thank
Great
you.
job.
And we are super excited to kind of have a two-part live stream here. We're going to focus the first part on an interview with Michael and kind of a Q&A session talking about WestGroupe, its history, the unique philosophy that WestGroupe has on customer service, kind of how they've been handling, the pandemic and how they're supporting their customers, the Eyecare professionals across the country, and kind of looking at the mission of the company as a whole. And I really, as an editor in this industry for a very long time, I really appreciate WestGroupe as a company. We have a wonderful relationship with them and really love the product that comes out of there. And we just used some of your product for our fashion shoot that we did last week. So thank you for that. And Bev is going to share with us for the second half of our live stream here. She's going to share some information about the product at WestGroupe, but she's also going to dive into, she has a fantastic PowerPoint of trends presentation prepared for us to look at kind of the most enticing eyewear trends for 2021, specifically kind of looking at what's happening now in the upcoming season. So we're excited for that part too. So stay tuned. We also, folks, I would love anyone that's watching here, please feel free to type in your name, your business name, your practice name into the sidebar here, into the comment bars in Facebook or in YouTube. We'd love to know who's here, who's watching, where.
Oh no, you're frozen again. Wow, it must be all the cold weather that's happening across the states.
Oh, it must be.
You're from? No.
Yes.
Okay, you're back.
Am I back?
You're back.
Okay.
You're back.
Oh my gosh. Okay, good. Well, you guys, if I glitch out, I'm gonna hang in there and I'll probably just be back. I think we don't usually have any internet issues here, but we are not that far from Texas and from those southern states that are having all those problems. So who knows what's going on out there? It's, for those folks, tough times for sure. So anyway, well, thank you again, Bev and Michael, for joining us. And thanks to our audience. If you guys would like more information, feel free to look into the comment bar there. There's the WestGroupe URL there to click on for more info, and you can check out some of the awesome frames that they have there too. And I'll give a quick shout out. We have Sue Corbett here from Prevent Blindness in Chicago has typed in. So welcome, Sue. Thanks for joining us. So Michael, we know, your company has such a rich history. You're a second generation leader in Canada's optical industry. You're a Montreal native. So WestGroupe is based in Montreal, which we hope to get up to visit you when it's not so cold. And, we know that your company has been in business for, almost 60 years, and what a legacy for sure. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of the background and the history of the company and how you and Bev, kind of have come to where you're at today with WestGroupe?
Absolutely, Erin. First of all, thank you. And thank you for Eyecare Business for having us here and for hosting. This is a great experience for us. First of all, we are getting close to 60 years. My father, Rodney, or our father, Rodney, started the business in 1961. He started with the true idea of being a distributor and an importer, and he brought in frames from the U.S. Right away in 1961. After a period of time, maybe 3-4 years, he decided that he needed frames that are a little bit different. He went out to France and then later on out to Japan. So by the end of the 60s, early 70s, he was importing frames from Japan and France. And we were really just concentrating in Canada, or he was just concentrating in Canada. And we were, he made a decision to support and to direct all the business to independent eye care. So our company has been built on independent eye care professionals for all these years. We really rely on them, and we dedicate all our efforts to the independents. I joined the company in 1990. Bev joined the company in 1994. And he felt in order for us to really learn the business, we needed to go sell. So right away, we took the bags. Bev was living in Toronto. I was living in Montreal. And it was go sell. Your full-time
Wow.
job is to go sell. And we both carried the bags. I carried the bags for 15 years before
Wow.
I had any type of responsibility. Bev still carries the bags to a few customers just to stay in touch with the direct feel of what's happening in the industry and to feel, direct comments of the product. But our father felt that in order for us to really learn and how to run an organization where the real blood and the whole identity of the business is working with the ECPs. And there was only one way to learn how to sell, to learn how to listen, and to become a professional, and that's to go sell, right? So
That's pretty amazing.
it was a great experience. And my daughter just joined last month, and the first thing I said was, "You're moving to Toronto. We have an open territory. Go sell." And
Wow.
that's all she has, a full-time territory, and that's what she's doing. And
Fantastic.
for close to 40 years, we were a Canadian business. And in 2004, Bev and I and our dad said, let's look at the market. How can we grow? And we decided we already launched Click Denmark. We decided to take Click to Europe. So we went to Somo for the first time in 2004, and that's how we started our export business. And after the first show, we had 9 countries distributing Click,
Wow.
right? And it was a really, really exciting time. The business changed. Our business changed tremendously. And then we had the courage to come down to the US. And we found 2 fantastic distributors in 2006, 2007. And that's how we launched Click and Fish into the US market, was through 2 distributors. And we
Wow.
worked with them, and they were wonderful. And we worked with them for many years until we decided that we needed a little bit more control. And by the end of 2016 or the middle of 2016, that's when we went direct. And we hired a sales force. We opened up WestGroupe USA. We opened up a distribution center in Plattsburgh, New York. And we felt it was really necessary to control our destiny and to really understand what people want. Is we could translate it to our salespeople, and we could say, this is how we would like to work. This is how our product is going to get delivered. And we went from there. And that's pretty much where we have taken it. And it's been 6 years, 7 years already that we're
Wow.
direct. And today we're standing with 76 salespeople in North America. We have 56 down in the US and 20 here in Canada. And we have a wonderful team of sales managers and VPs that take care of North America. It's just been a wonderful, wonderful experience. So that's 60 years wrapped up really quickly.
That's a pretty amazing story and really inspiring to hear. And even I did not know some of that history back there. So that is really great. Thanks for sharing that with us. And I know that WestGroupe has a really unique philosophy on customer service. Obviously, your focus is the independent eye care professional. So kind of how, is this customer service philosophy? Can you tell us a little bit about it, and how is that played out in the day-to-day with your eye care professional clients?
Well, first and foremost, we need to be a business partner with the ECPs. It's not about selling as many frames as possible. It's selling the right frames to help them grow their business. That is, the lead line that we use within our customer service team, within our sales team, within the whole organization. It's not about selling more frames. It's selling the right amount of frames to help people succeed. On top of that, what we try and do is we try and make life easy. We want to be easy to work with. We're not very complicated. We're there to support the needs of the eye care professional. And that's, whether it's a live person on the telephone, I think we pick up 99.6% of calls right on the first ring. We have 20 people answering the phones. So it's all about how to work with the eye care professionals. If they want to work with an iPad with our sales reps, they could work with the iPad. If they want to see samples, we have samples. There is no shortcuts. We work how each individual store wants to work.
That's pretty amazing. So it's really customized customer service, for however it works best for the customer, which is pretty incredible and pretty impressive that you have all those folks answering the phone. I mean, who can get anybody on the phone these days when you have a question? So that's like, wow, that's a huge asset, for your clients for sure. So, kind of why is this mission, that WestGroupe has as a company focused on serving the independent eye care professional, even more critical today in today's very unique and challenging world? They're going through so much right now as practices and businesses and dealing with so many things, kind of why is that your mission even more important as an asset for them?
Well, I think we have to think of our legacy and where we have come from. I think it is vital to continue the legacy that our father started, was helping the independent practitioner. Now, there are many groups and very large groups that are doctor run, and this is fantastic for us. We just, the mass retailer is just not a place for us. We don't have product for them. So for us, it's about maintaining our legacy, moving forward with our legacy. And also, you said it, everybody's being automated, everybody's being outsourced. Telephone calls are going out to third parties, into third country. Like it's just, we're a family corporate business, and we understand what we need to do to continue the evolution of our business and our legacy.
I love it. And that is such a great thing for the independent today, because so many of them are, entrepreneurial, independent, family-run businesses as well. So no doubt that is seen as a, really incredible asset to work with you guys. So, obviously we're all going through this pandemic together as an industry, companies and the eye care professionals. Kind of how have you as a company adapted during the COVID-19 crisis to assist your independent eye care clients?
Well, I think, we've done what most companies have done. We make sure our frames are sterilized. Any delivery that we get into the building sits for 24 hours to make sure everything, whatever is has to get wiped down. We do all the regular protocols for COVID. We have everybody working from home who can work from home, and whoever is in the office, they're wearing masks and we're doing temperature check. But more importantly, I think what's important is how our team has worked through this horrible time, right? Because if we look back in March, April, May, this was all scary for everybody, right? And it really, we're so proud of the WestGroupe family and how they took it upon themselves to work from home, to do what was necessary. And it really reinforced what our family and what our culture is about here at WestGroupe. It is truly amazing, when we had to make difficult decisions, and Bev and I struggled during March and April, where we were nervous. We didn't know when we could come out of it, when we could open up, and we had to make some really, really difficult decision in terms of furloughing people. And yet everybody within the organization, one, understood, two, understood that it was really important for WestGroupe, when we could open back up, that we're strong. And not only are we strong, but we could thrive and move forward. So everybody, whether it was from a customer service person, a warehouse person, our salespeople, they stayed committed, even when we had to make terrible decisions and very difficult decisions. And then when we brought everybody back, it's like we didn't even miss a step. It was truly inspiring on how our family and our group stuck together and did what needed to be done for the survival and for everybody.
Right. For the greater good. It's very impressive, but I think it's a testament to the community and the culture and the family that, you folks have created at WestGroupe for sure.
Thank you.
Yes. So, well, thank you for all of that insight, Michael. I feel like I have, a million more questions for you because it's just kind of scraping the surface here of how, incredible WestGroupe really is. But I appreciate knowing more about the history and the mission and the DNA of WestGroupe. And we're going to now shift to a couple of questions for Bev. So thank you, Bev, for joining us. Before we do that, I'm just going to give a super couple of quick shout outs because we got a lot of folks on here tuned in. Clearly, our technical difficulties, I don't know. Thank you guys all for staying patient and tuning back in because everybody kind of came back. So we've got Beth Hickey-Devlin, Janine Roy from WestGroupe, Anne Marie Moreland, Gail Wade Bennett, Heather Motzinger Rolls, Shayna Latiolas. Sorry, Shayna, I probably just butchered that. But thank you guys all for joining us. It's really exciting to see so many folks here from a variety of different places. So Bev, looking on the product side, how would you describe WestGroupe's DNA when it comes to eyewear and sunwear? And what are kind of your key brands? And we did talk a little bit about Click, but what are some of the key brands and how do those serve the clients? So just kind of if you could describe the DNA, kind of the brands and what are the brands?
Going back to sort of what Michael had said during the your conversation on the evolution of our company. And I think for the longest time, we were just distributors in Canada. And in 2004, we seriously started looking at our stable of brands and feeling that we needed more control. At that time, I was a full-time rep and I did some of the buying for our products. And I think being out in the road and hearing from my customers and other customers in different areas, we were really able to identify holes in the market that no one was servicing from a product perspective. And in 2004, that was the time, that was sort of the era when frames started to become larger. And there were a lot of ECPs were having a hard time finding frames for narrow fit consumers. And that was how we came up with the key DNA for Click. At that time as well, Scandinavian design became more and more important and more popular. So that organic growth of our first brands and creating something that fit the needs and the holes in the market at that point allowed us to get a really firm and concrete idea of the mission of Click and the aesthetic of Click. And because it was so focused on solving an issue, we were able to maintain that DNA. Click was developed in 2004. We're going on to 2021, and for a brand to stay relevant all of these
almost 20 years.
And the design has evolved based on trends, but the core DNA of being clean, modern aesthetic for the narrow fit consumer has stayed true. And our other brands, Fish for women and Avatic for men, were born from Click. When we first developed Click, we really focused on color and European design, and Click became very popular right from the get-go. But due to the popularity, we were getting a lot of requests for similar type of design, i.e. lots of color, lots of detail, a little bit more European styling, but larger sizes. And rather than diluting the DNA of Click, we decided to create a women's collection, Fish, that focused on color and detailing and European design that was not a little bit, was quite different than from branded product and the aesthetic of branded product. And that's how Fish was born. And Avatic, originally Fish had men and women's styling within it, but as men were a little less confident when it came to color, there was a disconnect between the look of Fish men and ladies models. So rather than, again, diluting the DNA of a brand, we separated men's out, kept Fish for women, really focused on bringing the fashion trends into eyewear for Fish out of more so than any other collection, and Avatic focusing on changing technology in materials, looking for the newest hinges, because men are interested in clean design, a little bit of color, but they're really, really interested in the technical aspects of things. So we were really able to separate the DNA, make each collection compatible with each other. There was very little overlap. And because one of the things that I found as a rep, there was nothing more frustrating to an ECP is sitting in a 1 to 2 hour presentation with a rep and basically looking at the same product over and over, but with different demo lenses. So for us, it was very important that our products and our brands complemented each other and didn't compete. And there was a reason why the ECP would carry Click, Fish, and Avatic. Our fourth key collection is Superflex, which is our lifestyle collection. Affordable price point, but very deep in styling and sizes. So within Superflex, you can get kids, you can get mature ladies, mature men's, teens, fashion forward, a little bit of everything at an affordable price point. We focus so much on design across all of our collections because it's very important to us that regardless of the price point that a consumer can afford should not dictate the aesthetics of the frames that they can wear.
That is a wonderful philosophy, and you have such fantastic design. We just you'll love the fashion shot that we did last week. It's running in our March issue, but the frame is so gorgeous, and it's a fish, and it's kind of a geometric style, and just really beautiful acetate, great colors. So clearly you put a lot of, passion into the design process. That is definitely clear to us, and we work with your product quite a bit. So kind of how would you, Bev, explain the company's philosophy on quality in its frame products? Because you can really feel the quality in your products as well as obviously see the design and the style.
I think for us, quality, this was the importance of providing a quality product regardless of the price point, I think is something that our father instilled in us. And one of the key things that he always said is that you're always as good as your last product. And you can come out with hundreds of great pieces that look great, that stand up, and you have that one frame that has a problem. That's what people remember. And it's the same thing for the retailers. For us, we understand that consumers judge a retailer based on the product that they bought. So if they have a problem with their frame, they don't automatically think, well, it's the manufacturer who caused my issue. It's the frame that I bought at the retailer that I had the problem with. So for us, ensuring that quality is as important, if not more so than the aesthetic, is always top of mind when the design team is sourcing the components, looking at the structure of the design. Before our products are shipped out, we go through very rigorous QC testing, both at the factory level and once they hit Montreal or Plattsburgh warehouse. So there are probably 3 or 4 different QC checks above and beyond what the factory themselves do. We have our own QC team in the various countries where we produce, doing a final QC check before the products are shipped to North America. And then we go through additional QC checks once they land here to ensure that any issues that were spotted during our QC at the factory have been solved and fixed before it ships to us. So, you know, we take what we put out very seriously. We want our customers to be happy, we want consumers to be happy, and we want our sales reps to be happy. You know, they're there to service their customers, and the last thing we want is for them to spend, you know, an inordinate amount of time trying to fix problems.
Right, for sure. Well, the quality is quite evident, and that's great to see, you know, to hear about kind of, and that's pretty amazing, all those QC checks. It sounds like a lot. Along the way, and you know, folks can really feel confident, you know, in the quality of the frame that they're selling to their patients, you know, for sure. So, all right, well, we're super excited to see some of these trends that you've got on tap for us, Bev. I know they're kind of focused on 2021. Is it spring 2021, or is it kind of just looking at for the whole year what's on tap for the trends?
I think it's a mixture. I'm going to be dividing the trend presentation into 3 different areas. The key shapes, which I think are more of 2021 trends. These are shapes that the ECP and consumers are going to see throughout the year. Trending colors, which are a little bit more seasonal, but again, the eyewear, I always like to say eyewear trends evolve. They don't change, because most consumers buy a pair of glasses and expect them to be stylish for a couple of years. And you know, at the end of the day, we're designers are dealing with a very small canvas. You have a front and you have temples. It's not like hems go up and down,
right?
Pant legs get wide and narrow. There's just so much you can do. And I think due to the cost and the fact, you know, it's a sizable investment for most consumers, I think most designers are very cognizant of that. And we look at the trends and we evolve to freshen it up, but not to make people feel like they just spent $400 or $200 on a pair of glasses and within, 6 months they're out of style. So right. I like to say they evolve. So with that, colors are seasonal, but again, you'll see those colors launch throughout the year, and the design details again, although we put it as spring, summer 2021, I think those details also will carry out throughout the year.
Great. Oh, well, that's awesome. So thank you for explaining that. So I think we're going to pull up our PowerPoint now. Yep. and roll through that. So Bev, I'll let you take it from here.
Perfect. I think if we can move to the eyewear shape trend slide. Perfect.
There it is.
With spring, summer 2021, eyewear trends are all about vintage vibes. The 70s continue to influence fashion as well as eyewear trends, particularly when it comes to shapes. The versatility and acceptance of these throwback shapes is evident in that they are popping up in eyewear collections at every price point. Can move to the next slide, please. The first shape is the retro square. This shape began trending in 2019 and continues to stay strong into 2021. The shape is extremely versatile. It'll work for both men and women, and it's a great shape for both optical and sun styling. Additionally, and most importantly, it also works great for metals as well as plastic material. The next shape is the 70s hexagon. This came to the forefront again last year, and we're seeing it continue into 2021. It evolved from the oversized round, and this angular shape looks great when it's clean and simple, like the Superflex 561, or elevated by layering of materials, applying intricate detailing. Can we go back, please? And thank you. Applying intricate detailing or changing it up by introducing semi-rimless constructions. It's a really great shape that designers are playing around with now that we've seen a bit more of the uptake, a bit more popularity. You look through any trade magazine, you walk down the street, all different ages are wearing the Hexagon. And I think as we've seen it sort of trend from 2019 into 2020, into 2021, I think designers are taking a little bit more liberties to jazz it up and evolve it because women seem to love this shape.
And you know, Bev, I don't know if you're watching any of the fashion shows right now. The New York Fashion Week is on, and a lot of 70s, a lot of disco, a lot of 70s in those shows. So that it's going to be on trend, for quite some time, seems.
Yes, 70s, honestly, is a great era for fashion and eyewear. And I think you see a lot of similarities between the 70s and the era we're in. You see a move towards a more natural aesthetic, a cool aesthetic, much more streamlined, less fussy. And I think a lot of those trends are translating, albeit they're being updated and made a little bit more modern, but they're translating really well, particularly with eyewear shapes. The third shape that we're seeing trending is subtle changes in round shapes continue to gain traction as consumers look for new variations of this classic shape. Round club masters, panto shapes, and angled rounds are all modern takes on this classic go-to shape, and layered coloring keeps these looks fresh and clean. It's going to be all about the subtle twists to the round, the slight variations, and color. Color today is more important than it's ever been. We've really moved past the browns, the grays, the blacks, and the navies, and people are having fun with color now in eyewear. The last shape that I want to highlight is the flat top, or the D shape, which is a timeless classic for men. The clean masculine shape works for both metal and acetate styles, and unique detailing like keyhole bridges and flat front profiles can make the shape retro or futuristic.
Fun.
The second trend area that I want to touch on is color, as it's become such an important element in frame design. As WestGroupe decides on the key color trends for each seasonal collection, we look to the Pantone Institute, which is the #1 color forecasting company in the world, and various other forecasting services to provide key direction when it comes to color. For 2021, we're seeing a mix of dusty hues and bold brights, anchored by a neutral palette that is grounded in nature. You can go to the next slide, please. For spring-summer 2021, hues have been inspired by the artificial intensity and glare of digital life, and on the flip side, inspired by the softened and dusty looks of natural dyes and colors. If you continue to look at this color palette, where you see colors that have been around forever. I think the big thing, as I alluded to at the beginning, is you're seeing subtle changes year to year, season to season in tones. So you see different tones of purple. You see red getting darker or lighter or more fiery depending on the trends of the season. Blues have become a mainstay, but we're seeing blues mixed with more greens, more purples, aquas, teals, all of these colors, which are core colors, and the evolution and the subtlety of the changes year to year is what keeps them fresh.
Beautiful.
So some of the key colors that we're going to be seeing for 2021, you can go to the next slide, please. This year, Pantone's color of the year was illuminating yellow and ultimate gray. This was the second year that they chose two colors to be the color of the year. The vibrancy of yellow tones work best as accent colors and will hopefully bring some brightness and optimism back into our daily lives, while gray remains a strong neutral hue that is a great core color for both men and women. When we look at the reds for this season, you can move to the next one, please. This year's key color, red color, is called Oxy Fire. It's a bit brighter from reds that we saw in 2020. It's a mix of red and orange, and it's the perfect accent color when combined with a dark neutral tone, or it's great on its own for those daring to make a statement. I think the request for red is probably a request we get every year, both for men and for women. Yeah. So it's figuring out how to introduce it in a wearable way, because at the end of the day, we don't design frames just because we like the look. At the end of the day, what's so important to us at WestGroupe is making sure that we're designing frames that are going to sell through, that are going to resonate with consumers, that consumers are going to be comfortable wearing. Purple tones are taking on new prominence, with dusty hues of lavender, lilac, and violet looking to replace feminine pinks from past seasons. With the variety of purple tones making the spring-summer palette, it's the perfect color to achieve a tonal layered look in eyewear, both by mixing materials, whether it's an acetate front and a metal temple, or layering a purple frame with a purple fashion tint sun lens. So tonal looks are becoming more and more important in fashion, and we're seeing it transposed onto eyewear as well, and there's so many ways we can do it. So it's pretty exciting to see.
Sure is. What a great color.
For pink, pink continues to trend into spring summer 2021, but this season's tone is definitely more dusty than past tones. The deepening of pink shows a move away from that barely there look of past seasons. You know, the nudes, the blushes, you need to look into a certain light to actually see the tints. But it's still maintaining a delicate feminine look. I'm actually happy to see the move away from those barely there colors. I love color. And you know, two years of very light translucent, I was good to move on.
This is a gorgeous color. That
I'm super excited. It looks beautiful on skin tones. It's not too light, so you don't look washed out, and it's a little bit of that rosiness, which I think a lot of women are looking for. So
very wearable.
It is very, very wearable. Aqua and Teal are another big color for 2021. They've long been popular eyewear colors for those looking for that pop, but we're starting to see aqua, teal, marine blue moving into the mainstream, being more of the highlight rather than the pop, which again is showing over time, particularly women have become more comfortable in color. And really now we're looking at eyewear as making that fashion statement.
Great color.
The last color I wanted to talk about is brown. While brown was once the staple color for eyewear, over the last couple of years, it sort of lost its popularity, as I said, as people were starting to look for more color. And that was for both men and women. It was a given that brown was going to be the #1 color. And now, very rarely are we seeing that the case. We're looking at 2021 as this starting to change. With natural tones taking hold in fashion and interior design, we're looking to soft browns to pick up favor. Gradients, tonal coloring, and marbling will push brown, sands, and camel hues to the forefront. They're a really nice accompaniment to the pinks and the lavenders and that softer hues. And I think, you know, because it was out of fashion for so long, that people are now going to look at brown as a new color, because you look at the boards and there's not a lot of brown anymore. So it's nice to see it come back. It's a really, again, it's another hue that looks great on most skin tones, very sellable, and it's going to be up to us eyewear designers to make brown exciting again.
Well, the fish style you have there on the bottom, what a gorgeous way to interpret brown, you know, into that, into the mix there. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's. I think it comes down to the layering of color, putting together some interesting color combinations and contrasts just to create that interest, so that brown isn't viewed as boring.
Right.
Okay. The last section I want you to talk about is detailing. There are several detailing trends that are shaping eyewear designs in 2021. The first one, with so many of us staying close to home and enjoying outdoor activities, consumers began to rediscover the beauty in Mother Nature's landscape. The uneven lighting in rock formations inspire the marbling looks of acetate. Flowering shapes inspire laser cut designs like we've done on the top brow of Fish 3667. And temples are detailed with wood inserts or wood grain finishes. I think as consumers, you know, especially with all the lockdowns and not traveling and working from home, people are stepping back and taking a breath and looking around, enjoying the outdoors and going for more walks. And designers are being inspired for that, you know, inspired by that. You look around, there's beauty everywhere. And there's things that we can look and get inspiration to create in our designs. Animal prints. Seems to be a part of every season's trend, and spring summer is no different. Joining the ever-present leopard, tigra, and snakeskin print that seems to pop up every single season. This year, the star is going to be the zebra.
Love that.
Zigzag pattern will be a definite standout this year, whether classic black and white or infused with color. Women love pattern, and they're really drawn to fun animal and reptile print. It's a great combination with accessories. They're fun, they're sexy, they have a little bit of a, you know, zzzz. It just really dresses a basic tonal look. You put on a great animal print, and you suddenly get emboldened.
Definitely. Love that. Love both of them. So is the top one more of a snake print?
No, the top one is a leopard print.
Oh, it is leopard.
So in this model, in Fish 3674, each color has its own distinct print. So we played on leopard. There's one tiger. There's one abstract print that was basically created by cross pattern of color. So we try to bring some organic patterning into the spring summer collection for Fish. But we definitely have our fair share of animal, snakeskin, and the bling, because women love the bling.
Super fun.
The last detailing trend is cutouts. Taking inspiration from fashion and accessory design, crafted cutouts has become a key trend in eyewear design. We've seen this over the last couple of years, whether, you know, it's crafted cutouts, negative space, with all the new technology in frame manufacturing, whether it be laser design, CNC milling, there's so much fine detailing and cutting that we can do just to create some interest, whether it's intricate and detailed laser work that allows us to have seamlessly threaded temples that go through an acetate front, like we're seeing with Click 680, or double brow bars that are laser cut from one piece of monoblock metal, which is like the Fish 3670, peekaboo temples. All of these sort of cuts and intricate detailing are elevating today's designs to make them more interesting, more fashionable, more accessory-like. Because at the end of the day today, consumers are really looking at eyewear more and more as a fashion accessory and as an extension of their personal style.
Definitely. Great
and
styles here.
Pretty much the trends that I wanted to go over. I hope the viewers out there found this helpful and are going to be looking forward to all the new product that's coming out in the industry for 2021. And as important, I'm hoping that we gave you some information that you can use when you're talking with your consumers about some of the trends in eyewear as they're looking for their own fashion accessory.
And such a great selling tool, and kind of just a great, you know, kind of value add tool to be able to share the fashion trends with the customers and the patients as they're looking for eyewear, you know, just to kind of know what's what's in vogue in terms of
Absolutely.
colors and shapes. And yeah, it's a great, great asset for the ECPs to have. So thank you for sharing that. And folks, thank you all for joining us. There are so many people here watching, so I'm really excited that everyone, kind of hung in with us there through the technical difficulties. We appreciate that. And what a great presentation between the business side and the fashion side and the product side for WestGroupe. We thank you so much, Bev and Michael, for joining us and sharing all this great information. Such an inspiring company.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And folks, stay tuned. We'll have more live streams coming down the pike. So keep tuned into our Facebook page and YouTube channel. And thank you all again, and stay safe out there.
Thank you, Eric.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.